First and foremost, before we get started, I like to give all praises and honor and glory to Yahweh by Hashem, Yahweh Shai by Hashem, Rekah Kwadash, and among ourselves, great millstone, while is truth, and also to those elect that is scattered abroad. I like to say, Shalom, and come back here today with another great and powerful lesson through the spirit and the power of Yahweh by Hashem, Yahweh Shai. And the title of the lesson is Famine and Pestilence. So I like to say shalom to all our listeners and learners. Hope this will help you today and guide you back in the path of righteousness and back to your true power, which in fact is Yahweh by Hashem, Yahweh Shai. So before we start today, let's have a quick news article here by Global Research. And it reads that 13 nations signed agreement to engineer global famine by destroying food supply. So let's read this once again. 13 nations signs agreement to engineer global famine by destroying food supply. So we already knowing that, this has been a part of the plan from day one, control the food, control the people, control the water, control the people, control the money, control the people, total control. So we already knowing where this is going. Also depopulation program. So let's get a little bit of this article. We read a little bit of it. It says here, it said the United States has joined 12 other nations in signing a World Economic Forum, the WEF agreement that seeks to engineer global famine by destroying the agriculture industry. So according to the agreement, which was drawn up by the WEF and the United Nations, UN, food production is causing global warming and must be eliminated. To save the planet from climate change, globalists insist farms must be shut down across the world. We're not ignorant of Satan's device. The WEF agreement sets targets for how much farmland each nation must eliminate in order to comply. So under the guise of reducing methane emission, said 13 nations has signed the pledge to engineer global famine by gutting agriculture production and shutting down farms. See here, it said by the WEF Global Methane Hub. See what it says here, the cup. I ain't gonna read that part, but one thing about it is it says, that they're trying to destroy the world food supply. So we already know that these things have been engineered and manufactured from the left-hand side, but all through the spirit of power, Yahweh, by Hashem Yahweh Shai. They already tell you about food shortage, they tell you about rolling blackout, telling you about cyber attacks. Also, they tell you about what pestilence, what a plague is coming, disease X. Tell you about what's that bird flu, and also it's another one in Japan. We get that in a minute. Flesh-eating bacteria. So all these things have been manufactured to bring forth their agenda. What is that agenda? This new world order, total control. So that's where we at right now. So it will be a food shortage. Also, we already know that it will be water short. Also, it will be starvation in a big way. Also, it's going to be many taken in a great number. So this is going to bring forth a lot of death. This is what they want. You already know what Bill said. So we already knowing that we're here. So they're coming along with this plan. Once again, it says here 13 nations signs agreement to engineer global famine by destroying food supply. So we already knowing, it already been, I think it started last year, maybe before that, said all these food processing plants, these poultry plants, these beef manufacturing plants, so our food supply, it constantly these warehouses and these processing centers are being constantly catching on fire, explosion, fire, so this is on fire right now. Oh, this burned up so much of this farmland. You already know what's going on in north over there in California, in Southern California, and also in the northern part of California, also in New Mexico, in different places around the world, constantly burning off farmland, and also different resources. So we seeing right now this, they're in agreement, what I'm saying, with the WEF and also the WHO. You know what I'm saying? He had power to give life to the image of the beast. So we seeing that we're very close. So let's get this one right here. Let's get us another one right here. I want to get about this flesh-eating bacteria. See what it is right here. See, a lot of these things, it goes under the radar. So we seeing that we are very close. Let's go back one moment. Let's go back. Right here. So we see what it says here. It says a flesh-eating bacteria disease spread in Japan, killing some in 2 days. So, not even putting this in the media, they trying to let this go under the radar. Once again, this has been manufactured and engineered, constantly bringing forth this agenda, order out of chaos, so this is what they want. So it says here, watch, a deadly outbreak of a flesh-eating bacteria is spreading rapidly across Japan, alarming health officials with how quickly it can lead to death. Said close to 1,000 cases of streptococcal toxic shock syndrome (STSS) have been reported in Asian countries this year, and doctors warn symptoms can be fatal within 48 hours. Says some have already succumb to the disease. So that's all we're going to get on. Let's see. We might get this little part right here. It said a deadly outbreak of a flesh-eating bacteria is spreading rapidly across Japan, alarming health officials with how quickly it can lead to death. So we already knowing this is going, they could bring forth a lockdown because of saying that it's some type of outbreak or a climate change. You understand what this is going. So let's get a little bit more. They said close to 1,000 cases of streptococcal toxic shock syndrome (STSS) have been reported in the Asian countries this year, and doctors warn symptoms can be fatal within 48 hours. Pretty much the same thing. So we seeing right here, all this is recent, a flesh-eating bacteria. So we, the prophets of old constantly warning you about pestilence, warning you about an evil time, warning you about war, warning you about all sorts of great disaster, global events that's getting ready to take place. And one thing about it is that you're seeing that we're right here. Wars already brewing left and right. So one thing about all these things have been engineered, but through the spirit and the power of Yahweh by Hashem Yahushua. And one thing about it, we already knowing that the devil is getting ready to fill his belly. And what we're talking about is his agenda, his plan, his plot is he want total control, the new world order. So now let's get this quick precept. Let's go here to the book of Jeremiah chapter 28, and we'll start up at verse 8. It said, the prophet that had been before me and before thee of old prophesied both against many countries, against great kingdoms, of war and of evil and of pestilence. So that's what we constantly warn you about: war, evil, and pestilence. Pestilence also goes into plagues, disease. You know what I'm saying? Many shall be taken in a great number. We constantly warn you left and right. The spirit of the prophet is subject to the prophet. So we're seeing that we're here. We're in the highways and byways, making these video epistles left and right, warning you of these pending dangers. Verse 9, it said, the prophet which prophesied of peace, when the word of the prophet shall come to pass, then shall the prophet be known that the Lord had truly sent him. In that day, they shall know that a prophet was among them, because these tokens, these signs of the times, these prophecies are coming to life. They becoming true. Said the Bible is faith and true. The Lord's word will not return to him void. So we seeing that these things are constantly happening. These warnings, of disasters and disease all across the world. Jacob's trouble, the hour of temptation, an evil time, a perilous time. So now we'll start today's video, and after the video we'll start the lesson, and I hope that you will get edified.
First, which infection are we really talking about? What kind is it? This is a bacterial infection, and it is rare, but at the same time, it is dangerous. It is called the streptococcal toxic shock syndrome, or STSS. It is also called the flesh-eating disease. The mortality rate is 30%. I repeat, 30%. How is it caused? is most often caused by the bacteria called Group A Streptococcus, and concern is growing that the disease will continue to spread. Why is that? Because highly virulent strains have been detected in the country. Naturally, experts are worried.
So check this out. Idaho farmers are losing the right to have water on 500,000 acres of already planted land. This is going to be devastating to the farmers, the communities, and to all the people who are involved in the effort of farming in southern Idaho. This will affect our food supplies throughout, way past Idaho. Meanwhile, the Snake River discharges 38,400,000 acres of water into the Columbia River every year. And the Columbia River discharges almost 200 million acres of water into the ocean. And remember, the Democrats say the ocean's rising, but they want to eliminate all the dams. Give the farmers their fucking water. And you Idaho politicians, grow some balls.
Update on the water for the Idaho farmers. Apparently, they did strike a deal. They will be able to water this season. So the talks are between the junior water rights holders, which is groundwater, and the senior water rights holders, which is the surface water. So the Surface Water Coalition and the groundwater, and then the state as well. The governor has more power than he is letting on. Brad Little has more power than he is letting on. He just doesn't want to get in the mess of it, which he needs to. So apparently they did strike a deal. They are able to water this year. They do not have a long-term deal going. Apparently this is something that happens every single year between these two rights holders. My problem is this: where does Jervis fall in all of this? Because it takes a shit ton of water to mine for cobalt, and they are mining 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, according to their press release. This just came down June 3rd. I do want to say thank you to everyone who has reposted my video and commented and liked and shared and engaged with it. It caused a lot of people to call the governor, Matthew Weaver, and Jervis, and that's exactly what we want. My mom always said this.
There's never been a famine in history that wasn't orchestrated. There's never been a time in history where people did not eat food, didn't have access to food because of natural events or some sort of catastrophic accidental event either. Always in every famine there has been food. It just hasn't been available to the people who needed it most for whatever reasons, mostly political and economic. Now we have the most farmland ever owned by Bill Gates, who has said that he wants the human population to be reduced by 90%, as well as sudden fires and explosions at food processing plants all across the nation, in the U.S. at least, as well as a convenient war between the Ukraine and Russia, which is the world's breadbasket. And now we have cyber attacks on the same exact food production facilities. So all of a sudden, all this disruption to our food supply right when inflation is happening. And guess what trains decide to do? Stop shipping fertilizer right at the growing season. Why?
So we're seeing that, all these things have been engineered. I think I have one more. Let's go back in. I think I have another one. I got to check it and see. Let's see if I still have it. This one right here about these cars.
Another major cyber attack in the United States. CDK has been hit by a cyber attack, shutting down auto dealerships across the United States. More than 50% of the auto dealers in the United States have been hit by this. Now, we believe it's a ransomware attack. Not sure of that, but that's what we're hearing. CDK, it's a company that deals with auto dealerships. Well, what exactly do? They pretty much do everything when it comes to the computers, the tracking, the auto repair, the records for everyone's vehicles, the records of when it comes to tracking the vehicles, anything you can imagine with a computer system with the dealerships. That's what CDK does. And now they have been hacked. It's a major issue. This just coming about a month after Ascension hospital group, they were hit as a cyber attack, and they are still dealing with that. So yet again, it's happened again in the United States. You need to follow me because I'm giving you these stories that you're necessarily not seeing on your nightly news.
So you see how they, constantly engineer. They constantly tell you about cyber attacks, telling you about a famine, telling you about what diseases, plagues, pestilence. So, all these things have been engineered to bring forth their what agenda. They want what? Total control. So we start today's lesson in second Esdras. Start here. So, what, I can't think, I think it was, what was his name? A WEF leader. He said you would own nothing and be happy. So you seeing where it's going. And also we knowing that it's going, said many will be taken in a great number. So we'll start here. It says here, it said, nevertheless, as the coming tokens, behold, the day shall come that they which dwell upon the earth shall be taken in a great number, and the way of truth shall be hidden, and the land shall be barren of faith. So we're coming upon that time. Those tokens goes into the prophecies, the signs of the time. So right now it's speaking loud and clear. At the end it shall speak and not lie. So we already telling you about, the pestilence, telling you about war. We constantly tell you about food shortage, cyber attack, rolling blackout. A lot of things are getting ready to happen. Your way of life is getting ready to change. This place is getting ready to be a third world country. All been engineered and manufactured by who? Yahweh, by Hashem Yahushua, not the so-called white man. He's not in control. He's only doing the Lord's will from the left-hand side. So we already seeing right here. It says here, the land shall be barren of faith. So we already knowing that it will be a famine of the word also. We know that the internet will be down. And also the Lord is getting ready to bring forth that, in that day, it said the prudent shall keep silent, in the day of trouble. So we're coming upon that time. We constantly warn you. And these things are constantly rolling out left and right. So, a lot of people are going to starve to death. Going to be cannibalism going to set in. A lot of people are going to be very desperate. A lot of sorrow, mourning. A lot of things are getting ready to happen. Verse 2 said, but iniquity shall be increased above that which now thou seest, or that thou hast heard long ago. So, we already know it's going to be a time of trouble that we've never seen before. It's going to be what? Civil unrest, civil war, uproars of the people, insurrection, you know what I'm saying? They're going to be what? Like madmen, sparing none. So we already know that we are almost at that point, the point of no return. Also, what World War III, they're already telling you about the draft, men and women, ages 18 through 26, so these things are lining up just like clockwork. Verse 3 said, in the land that thou seest now to have root, shall thou see wasted suddenly. So that's what's getting ready to happen, When they say peace and safety, total destruction will come upon us. Let's get this right here. This lines up just like clockwork. 2nd Ezra chapter 6. 2nd Ezra chapter 6 and verse 22. 2nd Ezra chapter 6 and verse 22. And it reads, and suddenly shall the sown places appear unsown, and the full storehouses shall suddenly be found empty. So we already know this get ready to happen. It's engineered, and manufactured what? Famine, what? Food shortage, the food supply, what I'm saying? They bringing forth this shortage, they get ready to bring forth all sorts of havoc and mayhem, it's all sorts of what? Desperation. A lot of people will have what? Great fear will be upon a lot of people, sorrow, so you already knowing, when your favorite restaurant go down, your grocery store, the way that you go get your necessities and different things like that, it's going to be cut off, it's all been manufactured. But one thing about it, this is exactly what they want. Depopularization. So that's what we're seeing. The sown places are becoming unsown. We already seeing all these store closing. We're seeing that, people are constantly getting laid off. So we already knowing that, hey man, it's going to be hell. You know what I'm saying? So Lord is constantly breaking the staff of the bread, your way of life, your necessity. You know what I'm saying? The way you get about each and every day, it's getting ready to change. You know what I'm saying? A lot of people right now still are not considering, but these times are going to be harder and harder. Tribulation, persecution, mourning, and great death. That's where we headed. Hey man, this is the forecast. So this is what they got lining up right here. Let's read it once again. 2nd Ezra chapter 6 and verse 22 says, and suddenly shall the sown place appear unsown. The full storehouses shall suddenly be found empty. So that's what's getting ready to happen. These grocery stores, your favorite restaurant, or where you go, like liquor stores, all these things, all they're gonna take all that away from you. And a lot, like these, a lot of people are depending on all these different medications and different things like that. Health problems. And all these things gonna be dried all the way up. Many shall be taken in a great number. So now let's go here to Revelation straight to the point lesson, Revelation chapter 6, and we'll start up at verse 5. And it reads, and when he had opened the third seal, I heard the third beast say, come and see, and beheld, and lo, a black horse, and he that sat on him had a pair of balances in his hand. So one thing about it, this is representing what? A famine, also pestilence. So that black horse is riding. It's riding, beginning to ride. It's gonna get worse and worse. A time of trouble that you have never seen before. So you already knowing that you ain't gonna be able to survive without water. I can't think with it, but I know that you can go without food for a while, but you got to have water within hours. So I know that a lot of people is going to be unalive. So we're seeing that we're here. So they are creating, engineering a famine in the land. So we already know this order out of chaos. Verse 6, it said, and I heard a voice in the midst of the four beasts say, a measure of wheat for a penny, and 3 measures of barley for a penny. And see thou hurt not the oil and the wine. So one thing about this telling you about it's going to be what food shortage. Going to be a lot of rationing out food and water. It's going to be a shortage in the land, a great shortage. A lot of people going to be fighting and killing one another for what? For just a piece of bread or for a drink of water. So a lot of things are getting ready to happen. We get ready to see it. Jacob trouble going to be off the chain. And also it says, see thou hurt not the oil in the wine. That's talking about the elect, the true believers of Yahweh by Hashem Yahushua. So in that day, the Lord, will protect us. He will provide for us in that time of trouble. We will be in the secret place of Yahweh by Hashem Yahushua. So we don't have anything to worry about, constantly trust and believe in Yahweh by Hashem Yahushua. So now let's go here to Ezekiel. Let's go here to Ezekiel chapter 4. We get one more, we close out. Ezekiel chapter 4. Ezekiel chapter 4 and verse 16. And it reads that, moreover, he said unto me, son of man, behold, I will break the staff of bread in Jerusalem, and they shall eat bread by weight and with care, and they shall drink water by measure, and astonishment or surprise. So that's coming upon us, that food shortage. These, that different things are getting ready to be rationed out to you. Some people are going to starve to death. A lot of people going to eat their loved ones, their children. It's going to be great desperation and sorrow. So we coming upon this time. That black horse is getting ready to ride. Famine and pestilence is upon us. One thing about it, we constantly warning you left and right. These evils are growing all around us. Plagues, death and destruction. Verse 17 said, and that they may want bread and water and be astonished one to another and consume away for their iniquity. So one thing about a lot of people going to consume away in their iniquity, it's going to be a stumbling block. We already telling you about the money. It's getting ready to be obsolete. We already telling you about that it's going to be food shortage, rolling blackout, cyber attack, no internet, no cell phone. A lot of things are getting ready to happen. A lot of people are going to be homeless, no shelter. So a lot of people going to die out here in the elements. And some people right now, they are not used to not having this and that. So they're going to be taken in the first couple of hours. So so a lot of people don't have faith. And one thing about it, they're going to be bugged out of their mind. They're going to be travailing with like a woman with child. So now let's go here to Isaiah. Let's go here to Isaiah chapter 19, Isaiah chapter 19 and verse 16. Isaiah chapter 19 and verse 16. Let's highlight this right quick. One moment. And it reads that in that day shall Egypt be like unto a woman, and it shall be afraid and fear because of the shaking of the hand of the Lord of hosts or armies, which he shaketh over it. So that's what the Lord is getting ready to do. The Lord is getting ready to break the staff of the bread. The Lord is getting ready to bring forth massive judgment, death and destruction. The Lord is getting ready, He's getting ready to make it plain upon tables. So we're constantly warning you left and right of pestilence, warning you of what war of an evil time, Jacob's trouble, also the MOTB. All these things are fast approaching. So we knowing that the Lord is getting ready to destroy this place. We knowing that this is coming. We right upon judgment. And the Lord said, first my judgment will start at the house of Israel. So we knowing that we're very close to these times. We're seeing that they are putting their plan into action. It's right here in plain sight. In the middle of the Lord, we're constantly warning you left and right. The Lord is getting ready to shake his hand. You know what I'm saying? And one thing about it, that, in that day they shall know that a prophet was among them. You know what I'm saying? Hey, we constantly warning you left and right. These things are getting ready to happen. You know what I'm saying? Hey, we're here. It is at the door. Egypt is it goes into what the house of bondage. We're in our second Egypt our captivity. You know what I'm saying? So we already know this. Egypt goes into what's called a house of bondage. So we already know that the Lord is getting ready to shake his hand over what Babylon the Great, America. You know what I'm saying? This place is getting ready to be totally destroyed. We seeing that, it's constantly on the decline. This place is circling the drain. It's almost over. Game over. Let's read this once again. So Isaiah chapter 19 and verse 16 said, in that day shall Egypt be like unto Babylon the Great, like a woman. So a lot of people gonna desperation, sorrow, effeminate, afraid. You know what I'm saying? Very, have a vexation of spirit because they were that same rebellious house. It said, and shall be afraid and fear because of the shaking of the hand of the Lord of hosts, which he shaketh over it. So one thing about it, he's seeing all these different disasters, different catastrophes are coming upon the earth very quickly. These evils are growing around us on every side, and the plagues are not slacking down for a moment. The Lord is visiting the earth that he created. And one thing about it, that we're getting very close. Our salvation is at the door, and also the great and glorious return of Yahweh by Hashem Yahushua. It is fast approaching. So the title of the day lesson, once again, is Famine and Pestilence. So I like to give all praises and honor and glory to Yahweh by Hashem Yahushua by Hashem Rekah Kwadash. I like to say, Shalom, Shalom.